Picture this. It's 1990, and your neighbor just bought a new Buick with this strange V6 engine. 6 cylinders. You think, that's not gonna last? Fast forward 30 years later, and that same Buick is still running with 400,000 miles, while the V8 trucks from that era are long gone to the scrapyard. That V6 outlasted marriages, job changes, and 3 different sets of tires. The V6 engine has gone from automotive oddity to absolute legend. These aren't just fuel-sipping compromises. They're engineering masterpieces that prove sometimes less, really, is more. Today, we're counting down the 15 most incredible V6 engines ever built. From bulletproof workhorses to screaming performance monsters, these engines redefined what 6 cylinders could do. And the engine taking our #1 spot? It earned a place on Ward's Engines of the Century list for good reason. The minivan marathon. Runner. When Chrysler needed an engine for their revolutionary minivan, they created the 3.3-liter and later 3.8-liter V6 engine that became the backbone of American family transportation. These engines powered millions of town and countries, Grand Caravans, and Pacificas through soccer practices, family vacations, and daily commutes. Built with a 60-degree design for smooth operation, these engines were tuned for low-stress, high-mileage service. The 3.8-liter version produced around 200 horsepower, which was plenty for hauling kids and cargo without breaking a sweat. Fleet managers loved them because they consistently hit 200,000-plus miles with basic maintenance. These weren't flashy engines, but they were honest workhorses that understood their mission: get families where they needed to go year after year without drama. In the world of V6 engines, that kind of reliability is worth its weight in gold. The exotic that started every morning. While Ferrari and Lamborghini were building temperamental V12 engines that needed constant attention, Honda proved that exotic didn't have to mean unreliable. The NSX's all-aluminum DOHC V6 was a technological showcase that redefined what a supercar engine could be. The 3-liter C30A made 270 horsepower with VTEC variable valve timing, while the later 3.2-liter C32B bumped power to 290 horses. But the real magic wasn't the numbers. It was the fact that you could drive an NSX to the track, set lap records, then drive home and use it as your daily commuter all week. These engines featured titanium connecting rods, a flat-plane crankshaft for perfect balance, and Honda's legendary build quality. Many NSX owners report 100,000-plus miles of trouble-free performance, which is unheard of in the supercar world. When Honda wanted to prove V6 superiority, they built the NSX. The Blue Oval's comeback story. After years of rough-running V6 engines, Ford finally got it right with the Duratec 3-liter. This aluminum DOHC engine became the foundation for Ford's V6 renaissance, powering everything from Taurus sedans to escape SUVs with smooth, reliable performance. Making around 200 horsepower, the Duratec wasn't the most powerful V6 of its era, but it was one of the most refined. Ford engineers focused on smoothness and durability rather than peak output, and it showed in real-world reliability. These engines routinely reached 200,000-plus miles with proper maintenance. The Duratec's success proved that Ford could build world-class engines when they focused on engineering fundamentals instead of chasing shortcuts. It laid the groundwork for Ford's modern EcoBoost family and restored confidence in Ford's powertrain capabilities. German precision engineering. Mercedes proved that luxury and reliability could coexist with their M112 and M272 V6 engines. These sophisticated power plants combined German engineering precision with real-world durability, powering C-Class, E-Class, and ML-Class vehicles worldwide. The M112 featured an aluminum block with Silatech cylinder coating, while the later M272 added variable valve timing and improved breathing. Power ranged from 201 to 272 horsepower, depending on displacement and tuning. What made these engines special was their combination of smooth operation, strong torque delivery, and Mercedes' typical over-engineering. Many examples exceed 300,000 miles with proper service, proving that German luxury engines could be both sophisticated and durable. British refinement meets reliability. When Jaguar decided to supplement their legendary V12 and V8 engines with a V6, they didn't compromise on character. The AJ30 3-liter and AJ35 3.5-liter engines delivered quintessentially Jaguar smoothness and refinement while proving more reliable than their larger siblings. These aluminum DOHC engines featured variable valve timing and produced between 240 to 280 horsepower with the kind of creamy power delivery that made Jaguar special. Unlike some other Jaguar engines of the era, these V6s earned a reputation for solid reliability when properly maintained. The AJ-V6 engines powered the X-Type sedan and several Ford products, proving that Jaguar's engineering excellence could translate to more affordable applications without losing the brand's characteristic refinement. The truck engine that thinks it's a sports car, found primarily in the Nissan Frontier and Pathfinder, the VQ40DE is what happens when you take Nissan's legendary VQ architecture and scale it up for serious work. Built with an aluminum block and heads, this engine maintains the VQ family's reputation for refinement while adding the displacement needed for towing and hauling. It's one of the few truck engines that sounds good at 6,000 RPM, thanks to careful attention to intake and exhaust tuning. Owners routinely report 200,000 plus miles of reliable service, with many commercial operators choosing the VQ40-powered Frontier specifically for its combination of capability and durability. It proves that truck engines don't have to be coarse or unrefined. The off-road conqueror. When Toyota needed an engine to power their most serious off-road vehicles, the 4Runner, FJ Cruiser, Tacoma, and Tundra, they built the 1GRFE. This 4-liter V6 was designed from the ground up to handle the punishment of rock crawling, desert running, and everything in between. Making 236 to 270 horsepower, depending on application, the 1GRFE features a dual overhead cam design with variable valve timing. But the real strength is in its bulletproof construction. Forged steel crankshaft, aluminum block with iron cylinder liners, and conservative tuning for maximum durability. This engine has powered 4Runners across the Sahara Desert, Tacomas through Baja races, and FJ Cruisers up mountains that would challenge dedicated rock crawlers. When your life depends on your engine starting in the middle of nowhere, the 1GRFE delivers. The engine that saved Porsche. When Porsche replaced their legendary air-cooled engines with the water-cooled M96 and M97, enthusiasts were skeptical. Could a modern, liquid-cooled engine maintain the character that made Porsche special? The answer was a resounding yes. The 3.6-liter version produced between 300 and 385 horsepower in various applications, from the base 911 to the track-focused GT3. These engines featured aluminum construction, dry sump lubrication, and the kind of high-rev capability that Porsche engines are famous for. While early examples had some well-documented issues with intermediate shaft bearings and cylinder scoring, later versions proved remarkably durable. Many owners report 100,000-plus miles of enthusiastic driving without major problems, proving that modern Porsche engines could be both fast and reliable. The bulletproof adventure machine. Ask any 4Runner or Tacoma owner from the late 90s about their 3.4-liter V6, and you'll hear the same story. It just keeps going. The 5VZFE made 190 horsepower and 220 pound-feet of torque, but its real strength was its ability to run forever with minimal care. Built with a cast-iron block and aluminum heads, this engine was tuned conservatively for maximum durability. Toyota knew these trucks would be used hard in challenging conditions, so they over-engineered everything. The result was an engine that routinely exceeded 300,000 miles with basic maintenance. The 5VZFE became the foundation of Toyota's truck reputation in North America. When people talk about Toyota reliability, they're thinking of engines like this one that proved Japanese engineering could handle American-style abuse and keep asking for more. The V8 killer. When Ford announced they were putting a twin-turbo V6 in the F-150 instead of a V8, truck buyers were skeptical. Then they drove one and realized Ford had created something special. The 3.5-liter EcoBoost produces V8 power with V6 efficiency, fundamentally changing the truck landscape. Making between 365 to 450 horsepower depending on tune, the EcoBoost combines direct injection, twin turbochargers, and Ford's decades of V6 development experience. It can tow 12,000 plus pounds while returning better fuel economy than most naturally aspirated V8s. The EcoBoost has powered Ford's performance trucks, police interceptors, and even the Le Mans-winning Ford GT. It proved that the future of American performance wasn't necessarily 8 cylinders, but 6 cylinders done right. Before we reveal our top 5, If you're enjoying this countdown of legendary V6 engines, smash that like button and hit subscribe, because the engine taking our #1 spot will shock you. It's not the exotic supercar engine or the high-tech turbo you might expect, but an American workhorse that proves sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. The family hauler that loves to rev under Honda's J35 3.5-liter V6 has been the backbone of their larger vehicles for over 2 decades, powering everything from Accord sedans to pilot SUVs. But calling it just a family engine sells it short. This is a sophisticated power plant that happens to be incredibly reliable. The J35 features aluminum construction, SOHC design with VTEC variable valve timing, and Honda's legendary build quality. Power ranges from 240 to 310 horsepower depending on application, with a smooth power delivery that makes every drive feel effortless. The J35 earned Ward's 10 Best Engines recognition in 2007, and for good reason. These engines typically last over 200,000 miles without experiencing significant troubles. When Honda needed an engine to carry their reputation for reliability into the modern era, they built the J35. The modern Toyota masterpiece. Toyota's 2GR-FE represents everything the company learned about building V6 engines over decades of development. This 3.5-liter power plant combines performance, efficiency, and legendary Toyota reliability in a package that's powered millions of vehicles worldwide. The 2GR-FE won Ward's 10 Best Engines award for 4 straight years and produces between 295 to 315 horsepower. Built with an aluminum block and heads, dual overhead cams, and variable valve timing, it delivers smooth, refined power across the rev range. Found in everything from Camry sedans to Sienna minivans to Lexus sedans, the 2GR-FE proves that one engine can excel in multiple roles without compromise. It's the engine that proves Toyota's reputation for reliability isn't just marketing, it's engineering excellence. The sports car engine that conquered the world. Nissan's VQ35DE is one of the most reliable V6 engines ever built, powering everything from 350Z sports cars to Altima family sedans. This 3.5-liter DOHC engine made between 280 to 306 horsepower, with one of the best exhaust notes in the V6 world. The VQ35DE features aluminum construction, variable valve timing, and Nissan's decades of V6 development experience. It was tuned to deliver strong mid-range torque while still revving freely to redline, making it equally at home on the track or in traffic. This engine proved that you didn't need to sacrifice reliability for performance. Many VQ35DE engines have exceeded 200,000 miles with nothing more than regular maintenance, while still delivering the kind of spirited performance that made the 350Z a legend. The exotic that redefined possible. When Honda decided to build a supercar, they didn't just copy Ferrari's approach, they revolutionized it. The NSX's C30A 3-liter V6 proved that exotic performance didn't require exotic maintenance schedules or unreliability. This all-aluminum DOHC engine featured VTEC variable valve timing, titanium connecting rods, and a level of precision that put German engineering to shame. Making 270 horsepower, it wasn't the most powerful supercar engine of its era, but it was the most sophisticated. The C30A could rev to 8,000 RPM all day long, then start perfectly the next morning. It proved that Honda's reputation for reliability extended all the way to the supercar realm, forcing every other manufacturer to reconsider what was possible from a performance engine. The iron legend that conquered America, the GM 3800 Series 2 was on Ward's 10 Best Engines list for 3 consecutive years, 1995, 1996, 1997, and is one of the most manufactured engines in automotive history, with over 25 million produced. This cast-iron pushrod V6 engine became the definition of American reliability, making 205 horsepower naturally aspirated or 240 horsepower supercharged. The 3800 Series 2 was the engine that powered GM's resurgence in the 1990s. Owners routinely report 300,000 plus miles with basic maintenance, with some examples exceeding 400,000 miles. What made the 3800 legendary wasn't just its durability, it was its versatility. The same basic engine powered luxury Buicks, performance Pontiacs, and everything in between. It earned Ward's 10 Best Engines of the 20th Century recognition for its combination of durability, refinement, and serviceability. The 3800 proved that American engineering could build engines that lasted as long as anything from Japan or Germany, while delivering the torque and character that American drivers wanted. Fleet operators loved them, mechanics praised them, and families depended on them. When you needed an engine that would outlast the car it was built into, you chose the 3800. From exotic supercars to family haulers, these 15 V6 engines prove that 6 cylinders isn't a compromise. It's a choice. The best V6 engines deliver the perfect balance of power, efficiency, and reliability that 8 cylinders can't match and 4 cylinders can't achieve. If this helped you appreciate the engineering brilliance of the V6 engine, hit that like button and share it with anyone who thinks 6 cylinders can't compete with 8. Got a V6 story of your own? Drop it in the comments. Whether it's a million-mile Honda or a screaming Nissan, we want to hear about the engines that proved less really can be more. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the engines that changed automotive history.